Hello, everybody. I'm so excited about this live. It's a class tonight with Bob Hasson. He's going to be teaching, and it's a live. He's also going to be interviewing and talking to and coaching someone who's in the class who has an incredible business. And then he's going to be taking questions from you guys on YouTube, Facebook, and on our platform, the Bolz Ministries platform. So this is the live version or the live installment of the class this week. It's a 4-week class. Each week will be on the platform from this point on. This is the only free night that you can join in if you're on Facebook and YouTube. The rest of it's going to be on the platform. So I want to encourage you guys to join our platform. You get one class a month. You get one event a month. The next event is Josh Acts, and it's about discovering your best health journey. You're going to love it. But also you get teaching series that are pre-recorded so you can watch them at your own leisure, so to speak, at home. And so I want to encourage you guys. We have a Black Friday sale that we extended for you tonight. It's $99 for 1 year of content. That's one class a month, one event a month, and then the teaching series that are ongoing. And I just don't know anyone who's giving away that much value, especially with people like Bob Hasson and Josh Acks and others that are coming ahead of us. So please come and join us. At the same time, I want to welcome everybody who's on. Tell us where you're coming in from right now, because I know there's people from all different states and countries. I see Jersey right now, Central Point, Oregon. This is so good. I feel like I should bring Bob into this part because Bob and I do this a lot together because we do lives regularly. So Bob, come on in. We're going to look at the people and where they're from. This is so exciting. We have people who are joining from all over the world. We even have Australia just jumped in, Washington State, Jersey, Oregon. This is awesome.
It's amazing. Canada, your reach, Shawn, worldwide. And I'm on your
reach too. People are coming into your class. This is so good.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob, I mean, you and I do a lot together, but this is your class for the next 4 weeks. And what are you hoping to accomplish? And what are you hoping that students will learn in the class?
Well, it's an interesting title, Building Your Career and Business with God. And so what I'm hoping is, first of all, that the compartmentalization that exists out there can be knocked down, that we can be the same people at work, at home, at the church, at the grocery store, et cetera, et cetera. And part of that comes from including God in your career in ways that you might never have thought of. Shawn, it reminds me when in 2019 we did the Kingdom Business events.
Yeah,
people would look at us like we had a third eye because we were talking about including God into our decisions in business, including God into our partnerships, including God into these places where people had really never thought about that before. So I'm hoping that through this class, we can talk about that and get a different perspective and paradigm shift about what work is.
And you're not only taking questions and answers, but you've pre-selected some people each week to coach. Like tonight, everyone's going to go to see one live.
Yeah.
And you have one every week, which is really exciting because tonight it's about a person who works in marketing on TikTok and other platforms. And then from this point on, you have other people. So I think that's also, you learn a lot when you're coaching and mentoring and answering good questions, hard questions. When I watch people go through that process, I learn so much as if it's happening to me. So I'm really excited about that component of your class as well. Hey, there's so many more people who just joined, and we even have New Zealand in the house, one of the furthest places from California where we're at there is in the world. South Africa, several from South Africa, Indiana. People are laughing at your third eye comment. This is great. So we have a great interactive crowd tonight. I want to encourage you who are watching. I'm about to get off. Bob's taking over in just a minute, but you can put your questions in now that you have for Bob about your career and your business and about God in that space. So you can put them in now. So he is front loaded with questions. Our team will cut and paste them so Bob's ready for them when it's a question and answer time. So if you get them in now, you have a good chance of being answered first or being answered, period, because we have a lot of people on right now who are going to be asking questions. But I'm so excited about this, Bob. I'm so happy that this is happening, and I'm going to give the class over to you.
Well, thanks, buddy. Thanks for everything, and I hope I'll do you proud, okay?
You're always doing me proud, so I'm not worried.
Okay.
All right, have fun.
All right. Here I am trying to button up my shirt. Okay, that's better. All right. Well, thank you for joining. I see Virginia Beach, Malaysia, the Bahamas, the United Kingdom. So cool. Belize, Morilon, Mexico, the Netherlands. Wow. Thanks for joining. Hopefully we have a good live and you guys can understand a little bit about where I'm coming from, you've already watched, I think, the first teaching, which we talked about perspective in the workplace. We talked about relationship between church and the workplace and kingdom values in the workplace. So I kind of where I'd like to start is, what is God's view on work? Well, we talked about this in the class. In Genesis 2, verse 7, God breathes life into Adam. The next thing he says to Adam in verse 15 is, go tend to the garden or go to work. So the first thing that he said to Adam was, work is important, and go to work. And then all through the New Testament, like one of my favorite scriptures is Jesus says, my Father and I are always working. So working is godly. And I've come from that perspective where in my life, people have in the church have said, well, you're a workaholic. And I'm like, really? But because I have a job, because my job required me to work on Saturday or Sunday every once in a while. I don't understand that. I am serving people. So I'm looking forward to hearing your questions and hearing your questions and talking through it. But first, you're going to love Kenya. She's going to come on. She has a marketing company. And so Kenya, come on, let's talk.
Hey.
Here she is. Miss Personality.
I got it.
Yeah. Hey, tell our listeners, tell us a little bit about your business. When did you start? How long have you been in business? And what do you do?
For sure. So I'm Kenya Kelly, and I own a company called If You Branded. And basically, we started in business almost 7 years ago, with a branding and consulting business. So we started out on like Periscope and Facebook Live, teaching people how to strategically build their brands using social media. And we designed their websites and logos and all the things until 2020, when God made a shift.
When God what?
He made a shift, and that's when he invited me to get onto TikTok, and that kind of shifted my business in 2020 to now we teach businesses how to not only brand themselves but how to market on the TikTok platform.
Okay, so awesome. Do you have any employees yet?
So we have 3 contractors.
Good. Oh, that's smart. That's right. That's really smart. Well, tell me, like, what's the number one challenge you're having right now, and how can I help you?
I would say our big challenge is probably scaling, because we make money in the business, of course, but
Mhm.
anytime you're growing at a rapid speed, there's a lot of things about business that you have to learn at a very fast pace in terms of like employing people, taxes on that level, payroll, and things like
Mhm.
that.
So one of the things I'd like to talk about scaling is there's people, I'm just going to use round numbers. Let's say a business is doing $500,000 a year and they say, I want to do $1 million or 100% increase.
Hmm.
And so when that happens, I like to talk about a 10% increase, a 20% increase, a 30% increase. Because right now, like whatever your volume is, you have 3 contractors
Hmm.
and you're doing great.
Yeah.
But if God doubled your business tomorrow, would you have the ability to scale it and to put your work product out? I think it'd be a struggle because you'd be doing double the work. So I think I like the long view, Kenya. I like a 5-year plan. Maybe in 5 years you want to triple your business, and so if you scale it back, it's maybe a 20% growth rate per year,
Hmm.
and I think that's doable if God gives you. In my business, He's given me amazing contracts that I didn't think I could do at the time, but I got them, and then the people came and the scaling came, but it was hard.
Yeah.
So I think having your expectations set correctly for moving let's say you decide on 25% in 2022 or 50% in 2022, that is more of a doable a scaling exercise than maybe 100%.
Yeah.
So as entrepreneurs, we see numbers and we're like, oh, $1 million is a great round number, or $5 million or $10 million. I want to do that.
Yes.
And I think eventually, in my business, I've been in business almost 45 years, and it took 32 years before we hit our first home run.
Mm.
And so there was a lot of singles and doubles and occasional triple and then triple plays and, all these problems that happened, but God kept building us, and we built a team over time. I'm not saying your business is going to take that long to scale like that, but
Right.
um, we get used to hearing of, the big Facebooks, Uber, all these things that just like are overnight. And those are the 0.001% of
Yeah.
companies. So there's a lot of blocking and tackling that goes into this, and you've been doing it and you've been great. Tell us about, like, what does it look like as a marketing company on TikTok?
For sure. So basically, the whole world, the business world,
Uh-huh.
thinks that TikTok is just for kids, kind of like tricks just for kids. They think that this just for kids, you know. And as a business, I understand that anytime that a new social media platform comes out and they are marketing it to younger kids, that they're testing it for an ultimate goal. And so when God invited me to get onto TikTok with it, I
Mhm.
realized that, oh, this is actually an opportunity for me to forge a place in the marketplace where people are just not going at this point. And so for us, we just started taking what I knew about building your business, marketing your business. And so
Yeah.
but with TikTok, it's what's called short form video. We just started doing 15-second videos.
Yeah.
Whereas, normally we would do like Facebook live videos that are an hour because those still work. We just start teaching things in like bite-sized pieces of content as a marketing company. And the more I taught in 15 seconds, the more
Mhm.
people consumed my content because they were able to watch 100 videos in a matter of an
Mhm.
hour versus one video in an hour. So the
Right.
more content we put out on the platform, the more people that opted into our email list, bought our products and services, and then it increased my influence times 1,000.
That's so good. So you coach and teach, but
Mhm.
then, like, let's say I wanted you to help me with a portion of my business. Would I come to you and sign a service agreement, and then you would tell me what I need to do, and you would do that for me?
Yeah, so we do a couple different things.
Mhm.
Some people, when they come to us, they want to walk with us, like do courses. They like literally want to buy something and do it by themselves. Then you've got some people who have teams very similar to you and your business that say,
Mhm.
I don't have time for that course. I don't have time for this. But if you teach my team member, then they can teach me A, B, C,
Mhm.
D, E, F, G.
Mhm.
And so we do that. But we don't do a whole lot of do like done for you, as in like helping you with your TikTok physically, but we will educate you on how it works, why it works, what to do, and help you monitor it and grow it for revenue.
So I believe in income in a business. I believe in many buckets.
Mhm.
So, so, I would think for you, and I'm not speaking this prophetically, but I would think that there's plenty of people out there that would want to hire you as an agency to manage their TikTok,
Mhm.
which is a whole different pricing structure, and
Yes.
would cause you to need to hire more contractors. But I think, like, with your personality and zeal and fervor,
Mhm.
that if you thought about adding that as a line, maybe, again, I'm a long view person. So you do what you're doing well in your niche now, but then you think, what kind of other income buckets can I add to this service that would cause my revenue to grow?
Yeah.
Um,
That's kind
and
of happening now.
right. Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So I think, because I think for me, I don't know how to advertise on TikTok, and it would be amazing to take, your knowledge, and if I said, "Hey, can I pay you X amount of dollars a month to do content and to drip it out onto TikTok for me on my
Mhm.
account?" That would seem to make sense to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't make sense to you. Maybe your business is scaling nicely the way it is. But another thing I want you to think about is adding buckets of income this way, and so that you have a robust business that's
Yeah.
within your niche, providing all kinds of different uh, services.
Yeah. And that I think that that's one of the big challenges that we're having with the scaling, because in order to do that, you have to hire people,
Mhm.
and then we have to figure out like, okay, well, what type of things do we actually need in-house before we can take our first client? And
Mhm.
because I've never done that before. I'm like, I mean, I'm a very adventurous person. I'll try anything.
Yeah.
I don't like trying things on other people's money,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm watching myself going, okay, I see this, I see how we could do this, but how to do it, what to do, I don't know.
Okay. My next question for you is, have you written a strategic business plan before?
No.
Okay. I'm going to give you some homework. I believe in strategic business planning and goal setting.
Mhm.
So I'm going to give you a thumbnail sketch of what a strategic business plan is.
Okay.
Basically, it's your mission and vision, your mission statement, your vision statement, and then your goals. So, and then your values. Like one of my values in my business is that the employee's quality of life would be raised by employment in my business.
Mm.
My mission statement is how are you going? What is your mission? And the vision is how are you going to execute the vision? So I could send you, if you send something to Bolz Ministries, I could send you a template.
Okay. Okay.
And then what comes after that is an analysis of your market, like the demographic. How many millions or billions or trillions of dollars are spent in marketing?
Mhm.
And what your little niche, you can do research to find out how many people are doing TikTok coaching, et cetera, et cetera. You might be one of 5 in the world. I don't know, or one of 50 in the world. And then you set goals. And so short-term goals are 0 to 1 years. Midterm goals are 2 to 3 or 4 years. Long-term goals are, let's say, 5 to 10 years.
Mhm.
Long-term goals are more of a dream. Like, I'd like to do $15 million a year, or I'd like to have, franchises all over the world. You don't know how you're going to get there. It's sort
Right.
of goal. But the short-term goals, I'm going to talk to everybody about SMART goals. It's an acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. SMART goals. So if you said to me, if you gave me a goal that said something like, I want to do $2 million next year, I would say, okay, does that fit with a SMART goal? Is it specific? Yes. Is it realistic? I don't know. Is it attainable? I don't know that either. Is it timely? Is it possible to have that done in a year? So you go through these things and you say, okay, that's not a SMART goal. Let's dive into it and make it hit all those 5 acronyms on a SMART goal. And what it'll do is it'll give you an overall vision. It'll end up being like a Bible for your business. The cool thing is when you look at it in 2 years, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I had these, they all happened, but they didn't happen the way I thought they were going to happen.
Yeah.
Or God gave me a new line of business that I never thought was going to happen, and we blew away our goals. So a strategic business plan is something that will get your mind thinking about the longevity of your business and give you direction and sometimes it takes 6 months to write these. Sometimes just having a vision and mission statement is super hard because it's only one sentence and the words have to count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think that could be really helpful for you because you've done such a great job in 7 years of scaling your business to where it is now.
Mhm.
And now you're thinking about longevity,
Yeah.
and that's I think a good way for you to get there.
Yeah. Okay. I can do that.
I know you can. I see it in you. You said you're an adventurous, but you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And those things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So well, do you have any other questions for me?
No, I don't think so. This is
Okay.
great.
I'm looking at your sheet and I love that Jesus invited you into the TikTok, and I think it's so funny. And I think, landing branding deals with major companies is so amazing. And I think God, with a strategic plan, with some direction that way, is going to help you manage your business. And with a strategic plan, you'll know, I probably need to hire 1 employee in 2022. And then in 2023, when when in 2023, when this is happening, I'll probably need to hire 3 more people based on volume and ratios. And my last question for you is, do you have good bookkeeping and accounting? Do you have someone who's doing that for you?
Yes.
Okay. So you're getting financial statements and you know where you are.
Yes.
Okay. To everybody listening, there's a few things that are really important. And one of them is having good bookkeeping and good accounting to know where your business is and where you're going.
Yeah.
So, Kenya, it's been such a pleasure talking to you.
So good. Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing your strategic business plan, and this is going to be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. Wasn't she awesome? Oh, gosh. Could you imagine having her market your company or your business with that energy, teaching you how to market? When we went out for possible candidates to do some, quick consulting with, we got a lot of responses. And I would say over 75% of the responses, one of their major questions was marketing. And so I wanted to have Kenya on to talk about, what she's been doing and what her company looks like and what she's seeing. So, okay. Well, Glenn, I'd love to take questions. And do I need to scroll through here and find them? Oh, here's one right here. Okay, Rudy D. What do you do when especially Christians, but also families and friends expect not to be charged for your service? I have the heart to help, give freely, but should I say no sometimes and draw a line? That's a great question, Rudy. We're in business to make money and to provide a service to people. And obviously, there's friends and families and cases that we want to help people. I think that I have a friend who's a doctor, and they provide services that aren't normally covered by insurance. It's called GenRev Health, and what they're trying to do is get people's health up by all these different ways. And so the church that we're in, they have a lot of people who come and say, "Hey, can you take care of me?" But we can't pay you. And these people have great hearts, and they started doing that. Well, as I analyzed their financials, it was like, well, you're losing money every month, and you have this big accounts receivable, and you're not collecting money at the time of service. So they changed, and it was really hard for them to say, "Hey, I know you're a believer and we believe in you, but we're running a business and we have to make money to feed our family." And that's what this boils down to, is you are in business to make money and feed your family and grow your legacy. So what I found a lot of times with believers is they expect deals even if they can pay for it. And I have another friend that I talk to a lot who's a counselor, and she's developed a sliding scale based on people's finances. So if you can afford to pay for it, let's just say it's $200 an hour. And if you can't afford to pay for it, what can you afford? And she does a sliding scale. And then sometimes she does pro bono work. And pro bono work means, at no cost. So I think, Rudy, what you need to do is really decide, are you a business? Are you a hobby? Are you a nonprofit? And I think what you're going to find is you're a business and people need to pay for your product. What I say is, as believers, we're going to give the best product or the best service because we love the Lord. And so why wouldn't I want to pay you, Rudy, because I know that I can trust you? I would rather pay you than pay the next guy that I don't know. And so I hope this helps. I mean, it's boundaries. It's putting a line in place that's saying I value myself enough to charge for this. And that's a hard thing. If you have an orphan spirit, orphan identity, or you have shame in your background, then sometimes it's really hard to charge for yourself, to see that you have value in yourself to charge for your services? So that's a great question, which I hear a lot. All right. Wow. Okay. Chris Rasmussen. What are some of your best advice and strategies for creatives in mixing their art and business in a sustainable way? Well, I'm so glad you're creative, and I could see by your emoji that that's even creative, or your avatar or whatever they call it, that's even creative. Your struggle is that you're artistic in whatever you're doing. I don't know if you're an artist. I don't know what kind of creative you are, but what I see a lot of times is, especially what Rudy was asking, people have a tendency to give their art away or undervalue their art or whatever their creative thing is. And because they don't value themselves or think that the product or service they're giving out is worthy. So if you're married and your spouse is more business oriented, or if you have a friend who you really trust who's more business related, you can ask them for help to help you get into your business. Like, do you have a business license? Do you have a bank account? Do you have a bookkeeper? These questions that as creatives you might not think about, but someone like me who operates at kind of the kingdom of heaven and practical strategy, that's all I think about. Reason I said about a bank account is because I was consulting with someone years ago who is a worldwide speaker and was getting wire transfers in from all over the world. And one time I was talking to him, I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Well, I'm driving to this other bank that I don't belong to because my little bank here doesn't take out of country wire transfers." I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, I used to know the manager over here, and so I just want to remain faithful to him." But so he's spending all this time driving over to the big bank to get charged to take a international wire transfer. And I said, "Time out. We're changing banks from this little bank to this big bank so that you don't get charged." And so creatives don't normally think that way. And maybe you can pray for somebody to come into your life who does think that way, or maybe someone who thinks that way who would love to help you get settled and organized as your creative business grows. So bravo for the creatives, and bravo for the people who are more strategically oriented who can help them. Thank you for the question. I see this a lot. Okay, Thomas, what is my favorite kind of business? The kind of business that makes money. I don't have a favorite kind of business. I know people I have a friend who a long, long time ago, he bought a vending machine and he started filling it up with sodas and collecting the cash. And he ended up collecting the quarters and nickels. And then he ended up expanding until he had this dominating business in San Diego, and he had 10,000 vending machines. And he had all these employees and routes and stuff. And so the thing I love about business is whatever your passion is, you can do. I'm in the construction business, which is a very hard business where people love to cuss and scream and yell. And I don't do that. I try not to do that. I try to maintain peace and the Lord. So you can be in a hard business and be a believer. You can be in an easy business and be a believer. But I think that there's so many opportunities out there, especially now coming out of COVID, that a lot of people have gone out of business. A lot of businesses are struggling, and there's just is a great time to build or start a business. And so, I mean, do you like candy? Open a candy store, or coffee. I have friends who have, coffee shops, and they just love what they're doing because they're passionate about coffee, and they love the fact that they're building a community where people can come and sit and study and talk and chat. I mean, I could go on and on about people that have been successful in businesses that might not seem sexy, right? Like, what's a sexy business? Well, I guess that would be tech, or some disruptive company like Uber or whatever it is. But there's all these businesses that just have character, that serve people that are out there. And so I think what you love, you pursue. What you're passionate about, you pursue. So thank you for that question. All right. Damon Stone. I'm a mobile DJ. I do many weddings, etc., and also Christian events. I'm attempting to go full-time with my endeavors, as it's something I've done part-time for 13 years. Any advice? I want to succeed. Yes, I have some advice for you, Damon. I assume if you're doing this part-time, then you have a full-time job. That's what I'm going to assume. So this is what I've seen. People have this kind of either or mentality. They have a full-time job and they say, I want to quit and start this new thing that I've never started over here. Now, you haven't done that, right? Because I'm assuming you have a full-time job and then you're doing gigs on the weekends or nights or whatever, which is great. So there comes a point in time where, let's say your full-time salary is up here, and for you, your DJ business is here. There's going to come a point in time when the income is going to raise and be about even. And that's when you're going to have to choose, right? You're going to have to choose. Maybe you call Kenya and you say, can you TikTok market me? And can you show me what to do so I can get more business? Maybe you go out to all of the people that you've worked for and say, do you have any referrals for me? But you have to make a choice. And the stepping off point is scary, right? Because you're giving up your full-time job. Maybe you have to wait till you get more like this, or maybe your full-time job, you can say to your boss, look, I have this business that's taking off as a DJ, and there's going to be times when I'm going to need to take off Fridays and be gone over the weekend. Can you work with me on that? Can I work Monday through Thursday? And if you're a valued employee, your boss is going to say, well, I'll think about that. Now, especially since we've just come through COVID, where people have learned that they can work from home, and companies are more lenient about hours and how that gets done. So I think you have incredible opportunities in front of you, and I would pray about it. One of the things that I like to say is surround yourself with people that you admire and you trust, and ask them these questions. Like, what do you guys think about this? You know me. What do you think about this? And you'll get wisdom from the crowd of people who know and love you, and say, yeah, I think it's a great idea. Do you have enough money saved that you can make up the difference if a couple months in the new DJ business don't actually pay your bills? Have you thought about that? Maybe you need to save $5,000 so that when you do quit this job, you have a cushion to go out here. So I love that question. And I love the fact that you've been part-time for this amount of time. You're passionate about it and you want to make the step into full-time. Such great questions. I'm so happy. So Barry Burrows, what do you do if you have a business, but there isn't a market for your business where you live, but that's when you specialize in? That's interesting. So I have a counselor that's in Chicago, and I see her on either telehealth or FaceTime calls, and it works out great. I would have never thought that I could do that, but I can. So depending on what business you're in, maybe you could let us know in the comments what business you're in. I'd like to know what business you're in, so that I could, like, if you're a contractor and there's no work in your area, it's going to be pretty hard to be a contractor. So depending on what the business is, let me see if you've let me know yet. So your next question is, because there isn't a market, how do you prevent your service from being undervalued? Yeah, I need to know what your business is, Barry. Undervaluing your business or your service is systemic for people who are trying to promote themselves, whether they're book writers, whether they're songwriters, whether they're therapists, whether they're a car mechanic. It's really hard to undervalue yourself. But I think, okay, animation and motion graphics. Thank you. So I think a lot of that can be done online, obviously, and I think that you can market yourself and and if you need to increase your computer size or your whatever your equipment is, you can do that. And these days, I'm working with people all over the country on certain projects. So I think you can really lean into that. And Barry, what I would do is I would do a study of what other animators and motion graphics people charge, whether you're calling companies and say, how much do you charge, or whether you can find out on their websites. Then you can make sure you're not undervaluing yourself. So I think these are really good questions, and I think you have a huge opportunity online to service customers and clients, especially in this business. So thanks for the question. I'm pray favor and blessing on you as you kind of get the guts and the determination and the courage to move out and try to make these things happen. All right. Giuseppe, can I talk about self-promotion versus marketing? Okay. I am the most awesome person in the planet. If you don't use me, no one else can service you like I can, because I am Joe Awesome. So you need to use me because I have this hat on, and I have a crown, and I have purple and gold robes on, and I am amazing. That's self-promotion. Marketing is, I provide this incredible service, and I'm so proud of it. And our customers say that they've had the best experience with our service. And I'm so excited to talk to you about it because I'm passionate about it. And I know that we can help you with your problem. And if you would take 15 minutes to talk to me, I'm sure that I could give you some solutions. And if I can't, I know where I would refer you. That is the way, as believers, we want to be humble, contrite in spirit, and show people what we can do for them. Because people are looking for value, they're looking for the best bang for their buck, but they're also looking for character. And character counts. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to over the years that they say things like, I don't know why I keep getting these promotions, and but there seems to be the favor of God on me. And yes, there is favor of God on, but it's their character, because they're showing up early, they're completing their tasks and saying, what else can I help with? They're asking coworkers, can I help you? They're staying late if necessary. It's this attitude that's the character comes out. This God-given character that we have comes out. So I think talking about self-promotion versus marketing, if you recognize humbly what your goods or service are, and you believe that it's the best in the world or the best in your domain or the best whatever, you can talk about it humbly and let people know that you're here to serve them and to help them. So thank you for the question. Heidi Song. Of course we compromise our integrity for the sake of success. I wrote a book in 2017 called The Business of Honor. I wrote it with my friend Danny Silk, and the thesis of the book was to prove that honorable companies can make money in this dog-eat-dog world where people don't have integrity. And I quoted authors that were believers. I quoted authors that were non-believers. I had studies from Google. Like, listen to this. Google wanted to find out in 2013, they called this study Project Aristotle. Why do our highest performing teams perform? And they interviewed all their 20, 30, 40,000 employees. Why do these teams perform well? And after years, all they could come up with is the highest performing teams care about each other. Isn't that cool? There was no empirical data. There was no metrics. There was no, this is the formula. It's that people care about each other. So we do not compromise our integrity. We just don't do it. We're serving the Lord. Are we going to make mistakes in our integrity? Yeah, sometimes we are. We're going to get scared financially. Like, if I don't do this, if I don't do this, I'm going to die. And then we don't trust God. And I've done this over and over again, where I compromise my integrity, and I shake my head and say, I did it again. But over time, you get used to listening to the voice of God, the way that you're wired to hear. You're wired to hear God in a certain way. And so when you get scared, when you get afraid, you're in the moment saying, Lord, what do I do here? And he'll tell you. And he'll tell you if this is an integrity issue or a fear issue or whatever it is. But by and large, our goal is to strive to keep our integrity moving forward, because we want people to say to us, why are you different? Like, why is your business different? And that gives us a chance to say, well, I'm a follower of Jesus, or I'm a believer, or however you want to do it. These are where my ethics and my morals come from. And so this is why when you undercharged me by $2,000, I had to tell you that you undercharged me by $2,000, because it's an integrity issue for me. Because I feel like if I didn't tell you that, then if I undercharge somebody more money, they might not say something. So I hope that answers your question. Our integrity is sometimes all we can hold on to. And God not only owns all the cattle on the hills, he owns all the hills. And so if we're hearing him and the way that we're wired to hear him. By the way, if you want to know a little bit more about Wired to Hear, Shawn and I wrote a book that's sitting right back there called Wired to Hear. And if you go to bolzministries.com, you can order the book. It's awesome. It talks about how to hear God in business. So, okay, let's see. Do we have another question? Luis Alfonso Vega. I like your picture. I have a textile company. Currently, I rent a small space where I have my workshop. Mm-hmm. Is it biblical and convenient to use a mortgage loan to acquire a warehouse for my factory, for the above, to have more space? Absolutely, yes. I don't know where you are, but if you're in Mexico, I don't know what the rules are there. But in America and California especially, there's the Small Business Administration, or the SBA. They have loans specifically for small businesses to acquire buildings, and it's quite a lengthy process to get confirmed by them. But their interest rates are usually much lower than a regular bank, and their qualifications usually are less lax. And they'll give you, if you qualify, incredible loans. Look at the SBA, Small Business Administration, go onto their website and see if you think you qualify. Absolutely, spending money to buy a mortgage on a building to grow your business is a brilliant idea. Again, talk to your advisors, your bankers, your accountant, people that know you, and get into the specifics financially. I'm going to spend $500,000 on this building, or $1 million, whatever the number is. And, my mortgage payment is going to go up to $3,000 or $4,000 a month, but I've analyzed my cash flow in a pro forma over time. And I think based on my current level of business, I can absorb the increase in my mortgage payment versus rent. And it's going to give me more space to grow. I think that's a brilliant idea, but make sure you do your homework and make sure you get with the right advisors, and you do an analysis on your current business levels. And then maybe you're increasing next year by 10% your business level. And so that you have a really good foundation of saying, yes, this is a good idea for me and for my family and for my business. So that's a great question, and good luck. I hope that, God blesses with you the right advice, and that you get this business, this building, and your business grows. Thanks a lot. All right. Let's see. I think we have about 15 minutes left. I'm having fun. Are you guys having fun? Hopefully I don't sound like boring, but I just saw Barb. She's just joined, and integrity is literally her job as a compliance officer. That's so good, Barb. I'm so glad you said that, because our integrity, our morals are really all we have, and I know that you see every side of it, and again, I really appreciate that. All right. Glenn, do we have any more questions? I'm sort of, if you'll bear with me for a second, I'm looking. Okay, here's one. Thank you. Deborah King. How do we stay focused on one business as a creative? I have so many ideas, but find myself struggling to stick with one idea. All right, that's a great question. Back to the strategic plan that I was talking to Kenya about. I think that you need to put all of your ideas on paper. And, first of all, my first question is, which idea is making you money? Stick with that. And then, as I was talking about, building different lines or different buckets can come. If you have a line as a creative that's working well for you, then keep on with that. And then take time to figure out what you think your next line is going to be, and start that. Let's say more part-time than you're doing with this line that's working, and then introduce it into your company. One of the beautiful things about creatives is they, you know what we could do? I have this idea, and I have this idea, and I have that idea. And what happens is we lose our focus because we're just thinking about all these different things. In business, we want to keep focused and then have sort of a strategic plan that says, I'm going to release this line or this product, and then I'm thinking about, out of these 10 ideas that I have, I've talked to my friends and some advisors, and they think this one out of these 10 might be the next thing to do that the market will bear. And so you start focusing that way, always keeping your ideas and dreams out there that maybe one time you'll get to, but sometimes after, let's say, a year or two, you go back and look at that list and you go, oh, that's so 2021. I'm so far past that now. And you have another list of 10 things that God's putting on your heart in 2022. So I think it's a beautiful gift as a creative to have lots and lots of great ideas. And I think that God will show you, if you ask him, what's the next thing. I call it supernatural strategy. And over 45 years in business, I've been so amazed where God's led my business and protected me from things. And so I think you have that ability too. Sometimes I get too practical and forget to say, like, always pray about this stuff. Always ask the Lord. Always go to him and submit these requests to him so that you can hear and get the impressions and have the instinct and intuition to move forward. I think that's what the secret sauce is for us as believers, is that we have the ability to hear the Father's heart for us, and to ask him for favor, and to ask him for direction, and to ask him for strategy, et cetera, et cetera. He'll give it to us. He's faithful to do that. All right. Kevin. Yeah, this is a hard one, Kevin. What do we do if we're partnered in business but no longer share the same business values? And by business values, I'm going to assume that you mean direction, or it could be that you're having an integrity issue with your partner and it's really hard. So I believe in fierce conversations, and that doesn't mean angry. It just means direct. I think that, probably what you should do is put a white paper out just for yourself, kind of crystallizing the issue. What is the real issue? Because sometimes I know in my mind, I get overwhelmed and I think the issues are huge. But when I put them on paper, it's like, oh, it's only 2 issues. And so they might be 2 major issues, and they might be so major that you can't overcome it with your partner. But the first step is to have an honest conversation with your partner. Something like this. When we first started in business, we believed in Jesus. I'm just going to make this up. And we wanted to go serve the community and put this product out. And over the years, I've seen like our integrity has gone like this. And I can't reconcile it, and it's not working. I don't know what to do. Have you seen the fact that you're willing to, to try to oversell customers when they don't need the product, when they only need this product? Have you seen that? Because it grieves my heart and I don't know what to do about it. And he might say, well, you're just a wimp. We need to oversell them because we need to increase our volume. And you say, yeah, that's the issue. And so you start with a conversation like, I have some questions. I want to talk to you about this. I'm just having some frustrations in the business. And your partner's going to come back at you and tell you, well, I'm having frustrations too, because you're too blah, 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 blah. But that's the first step in handling a conversation. I've mediated so many business partner disputes, and some of them work out, but most of them, just don't. And the businesses either close up, or one partner buys out another partner, or I had one where the board fired the other partner because he was being stiff-necked, and it just didn't work out. And the partner that got fired was really hurt, obviously. So there's lots of steps in between. Having conversations. If that doesn't work out, whether you're in the same church or not, maybe talking to your pastor or finding a business mediator, or all these things before it's a scorched earth type of situation. It's really hard. So anyhow, well, I think I've got time for one more question. All right. I'm going to say, I hope this is right. Aileen, because I know an Aileen. Could be Eileen, but you've started to prepare to get a copywriting business going, but got distracted. Now you're ready to get it going again, but struggling with some fear and lack of motivation. Any suggestions about how to get over this? Well, I think you have to ask yourself, what's your fear? Is it legitimate? Have you done a study about copywriting businesses? How many are there out there? Can you break into the competition? Do you have some customers already that you could get going? Are you a lawyer? Because copywriting is really technical. And then motivation, I could see how if you've got some fears in the way, motivation would be hard. So I would say first, like, go to the Lord, ask him what his ideas are for you, and tell him what your fears are, and that you don't feel a motivation. Sometimes if there's not a peace on something for a reason. But sometimes there's irrational fears that hold us back, and we want to make sure that's not happening, that's out of the equation. And I think, again, people in your life that you can talk to about this and find out, what do they think about it? Do they see you in this? Do they think it's a good idea? And then, like I've talked a lot about strategic planning, and I think that's a really good option for a business that's just starting, is to put a strategic plan in place, because it forces you to research and find out what your demographics are, find out what the size and breadth of the industry is. And if it's a $2 billion industry, then you probably have a pretty good chance of starting a business. If it's a $50,000 industry, maybe that's not the best thing to do. I don't know, but going to the Lord and asking him for clarity and confidence and supernatural direction is the best start. And then second, start a strategic business plan. And third, talk to people that love you and care for you, and bring them into the process. I know in Glendale, California, there's a church that has a business incubator group, and one of the things that they do is if somebody wants to start a new business, they do a white paper and they bring it to the group, and the group asks them all these different questions. And there's been more times than not where people have said, "Oh, I guess this was just something I'd always dreamed of but not thought of, and it might not work out for me." Or other times, people have been encouraged and said, "Yes, this is the right direction." So I think, getting confidence from the Lord, getting confidence from other people, and doing research to find out if that area of business is really appropriate for you is good. All right, gosh, you guys. Oh, okay, I got another one. Allie, I feel pressure from my spouse and family to create my creative business to make money. I feel that business is so far beyond what I can successfully accomplish, but also want to support my family. All right. How do I navigate this well under pressure, knowing that my goal is to help financially support my family? So, by the last part of the question, your spouse, I think, is telling you, look, I need help to supplement my salary. And if you believe that's true, then maybe it's a good idea to take your creativity and see what the market will bear. Let's say you've been giving away your creations to bless people and people love them. I don't see a problem in charging. Like, I know an artist who is just a brilliant artist, and she's branched out from her art to teaching classes about how to be an artist in business, and selling kits. She's just really branched out and become much more than an artist. She's become a resource center. She's going to start doing master classes. So I think you have to maybe change your expectation. And I was talking earlier about people who somehow don't believe that their service is valuable and that they should charge for it. And maybe this is something where God's stretching you into a place where you never saw yourself as a business person, as having a small business, and taking the leap from being a nonprofit creative who's giving things away to actually charging. I think you'll find that people will just love to buy your products because of the love, the passion, the heart that you put into them. So I'd love for you to talk to your spouse and have a conversation about it with him or her, and talk about your fears and the fact that you don't really know how to move this forward, and see if you can come to some agreement, together about how this might look. I think this is a really great opportunity for your relationship, your marriage, to take, a step in a new direction. Thank you so much for that question. All right. I think we're out of time. It's almost been an hour and my voice is there. That should help. I just wanted to tell you that thank you for joining the class. And I know this first one's free. I'd love to continue this conversation with you in the class. You can go to bolzministries.com and sign up for it. I've got 3 more weeks now of talking about some really cool subjects. I think the 4th week is really the best. I'm talking about personal finances, business finances, and team building, which is really in my heart. But the next 2 weeks are great also. So I would love to keep talking to you. Thank you so much for joining in. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you on our next live, which I think is in 1 week. And, you guys can tell me like, hey, Bob, you're boring. I watched your class and you just sat there, and like, yeah, that's what I do. It's hard talking to a camera, but I really love this feedback, and I really love talking to you guys and answering questions. I just think it's so fun. So Lord, I pray that you bless all these who've been on and who are going to listen. Lord, that you'd put favor and direction in them and for their businesses or their careers. And God, that you would give strength and courage to them through these classes that we're going to do together, and that you give supernatural strategies, and that most of all, everyone would recognize if it was easy, it would be doing it. And it's not easy being an entrepreneur, a business owner, or even having a job and leading teams. So bless you guys. I can't wait to see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
We have an incredible class coming up from the Bolz Ministries platform called Building Your Career in Business with God. It's on December 1st at 5 p.m. with Bob Hasson. Bob, you're going to be teaching this class. This is an essential time to grow in your ability to hear from God in your career. There's been a mass exodus out of the workplace all over the world, and people are wanting significance at work. What are they going to learn through your class?
Well, Shawn, I have a passion about teaching believers that they don't have to compartmentalize what they learn on Sunday and their workplace. And what we're going to learn about is work-life balance, balancing a budget, making hard decisions with the Lord, learning how to hear God in new and different ways.
Well, you've taught us so much personally, Sri and I, so I'm so glad that you're teaching in this format, a 4-week class, because I know people in the interaction with you and just seeing you and hearing your stories is going to change your life. So please join the class. You can join the first one for free on December 1st at 5 p.m., or you can join all 4 classes now by going to bolzministries.com.